Sam, when you looked at us and thought about sales training, had you done any sales training before?
I'd done a little bit myself, a lot of the sort of the generic, I guess you'd call it, out of the box sort of courses that different businesses or employers might have provided along the way. They've had little bits of impact along the way and they make you think about things, but it's one and done and there's nothing to carry on from there. I'm probably a little bit self-curious and I've probably gone looking for things I wanted to know and understand a little bit. So the answer is yes. Was it meaningful? Maybe not. Is there anything that I look back on and say, shit, that was amazing and that really defined what I understand? Probably not. But yeah, I think everyone has a go at training, don't they? Let's do training and tick that box off and then move on. And I
Yeah,
don't know if that's your style and I don't know if that's the future. Or I don't know if that's the answer.
yeah. So when you thought about us, what were some of the, not the trauma from that previous training, because we're going to be kind to them, but like, were there any questions or any concerns or any queries that were going through your head, or any hesitations, or like, is this going to be the same as last time, or what was going through your head?
No, I think it was the opposite of that. I mean, the way you and your business portrays yourself and what you do and what you go about it is directly addressing those concerns. It was the polar opposite of the norm, dare I say it. So it's hard not to see, even in your own marketing and particularly what you do with your podcast and that, it's very, very clear that it's a very targeted, market focused, and very market aware system and process that you're working through. So no, I don't think there was any hesitation. It was more excitement to find someone and
Mm.
something that very much addresses what we're working at. And I don't know. I haven't come across anything else in the marketplace like it.
Mm.
Not for our industry anyway. So.
Mm. Oh, cool. So tell me, what were the shifts or the outcomes that you started to see with the team? Share what you want without breaching confidentiality, but maybe percentages, or give some idea of the readers or viewers here of the journey that you've been on, the start of the things that started to change for the business once we got into training the team.
Well, I think the big thing in it speaks a little bit to your focus on the not even so much the sales process or buyer behavior, but the behavior of reps and people in their own role in that. It was pretty apparent, and I mean, you clarified it. We were probably in the background aware of it, but there's no point learning to sell or understanding that side of it unless you've got your own house in order first. And I don't think Jade, my rep, would be ashamed to admit that we had to do a bit of work at home first
Yeah.
on himself, the way he went about his workload and his focus and where his priorities were. And I think your ability to pick apart the person sounds a little bit harsh, but break him down and build him back up again so he could really utilize his skills and talents. That's the advantage we had, and that's certainly something that we'd never get out of a classroom course with a
Mm.
whole bunch of other students as well. So it's quite privileged to get the chance to put Jade through that experience. I'd love to hear what he'd say to you, because I think he relishes it as well. I think it's delivered more than sales benefits. But in terms of getting a return, I think we're definitely seeing that now. We've been hanging out with you for a little while, but I just wrote some numbers down last night. Just in terms of our financial year, which is basically measuring our winter, which is our worst time of year, he's 30% ahead on last year in terms of dollar figures. For the calendar year, which takes in the big part of our season, he's 78% on last year. You could dismiss a little bit of that to say last year was particularly terrible, but I actually don't think that was the case. I think a lot of that is Jade's hard work and focus coming through. Another little number, we get some numbers to look at. He's sitting on a 70% win rate at the moment, the way we measure it. Year before was 65, and the year before that was 51. So that's
Wow.
incremental. He's
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
good at focusing on what pays, not chasing rainbows or chasing
mm,
lost ends. And
mm.
then just one other little metric. This year he's added the way we measure a deal, 186 meaningful deals he's working on this year versus 69 last year. Again, last year was poor, but he's had to go out and make that happen. So that's 169% improvement in work rate. That's the way
Wow.
I measure it. So
Wow.
it's actually
Mm.
really pleasing, and I haven't paid a great deal of attention to it. I've measured what he's been getting out of it based on the vibe and based on the behaviors and the interaction, which has been satisfying me. But to actually sit down and see some numbers is quite quite cool, really.
Yeah,
So
well, well done you
yeah,
guys for being able to measure those numbers. A lot of people can't put their name on those numbers. So has Jade sort of, is he risen through the ranks in terms of the other branches? I mean, we're not competitive, are we, Sam? But we like to see him going up, right?
yeah, he is. He was, like I said, apologies, Jade, if it sounds harsh. There's a lot of reasons he was tripping over himself, and I never doubted his selling ability or his ability in the field, but there was always a reason why he couldn't get there, and it was showing up in the results and the league table and that. He's well and truly on track to be where he needs to be, 100% paying his own way and delivering a profit at the end of it. We've got a target in the group of what we consider to be a performing salesman, and based on his monthly averages and that at the moment, he'll smash that this year. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy for him, and I doubt he would tell you it's burning him out or it's working him any harder. It's all about structure and organization and planning and not chasing his tail. And I mean, I know you'd remember this and that, but one of his things he was always hung up on, I guess you'd call it a fallacy, this idea that he didn't want to be constrained by structure. He's a bit of a free agent and he floats around and that. I'd imagine he would tell you that structure gives him that freedom now. He can get what he needs done. He can stay where he needs to be, and he has the breathing room after that. And that was, I reckon, the biggest breakthrough that he's had. I don't know what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny, without saying like Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom. So,
100%.
the structure actually creates the success. And I think structure is the scaffolding of success. So Sam, what's that meant for you as a business in terms of Jay's performance and improvement? How does that feel for you as a dealer principal and in your neck of the woods? Like how's that making you feel now?
Takes the heat off me big time. We're relatively small. I mean, our sales department is me and him.
Mm.
I'd like to consider myself half a rep, but inevitably, if your reps are struggling to get to where they need to be, you end up having to turn up and deliver the turnover and the results yourself. And I'm just not someone, I don't want my name on the top of the league table. I don't think that's where I should deliver
Yeah.
results.
100%.
It would bring me much more satisfaction to see him do it. And I mean, we do need to grow. We desperately need another capable operator on there. And if I'm out there having to do it, I just don't have the capability to support that next person as well. So I have a lot of faith in Jay that he's out there flying the flag and delivering something meaningful that means I can just divert my attention a little bit.
Yeah, awesome. So, how would you describe the experience to peers? What would you say to them? How would you describe the program and the process that you've been through?
Confronting, direct, um, pulling no punches. It's not about ego boosting. If anything, it's about breaking down egos and that. And I'm not saying that as an attack on you. It's a commendation because I think I sense a lot of, I guess you call providers or support services and that they like to look after where the cash is coming. There's very much a sense with you that you'd take it or leave it. You want to work with people that want to work with you. And I think that's really important. I think you definitely got to be in the right headspace to want to do it. You're not there to solve our problems. You're there to give us the tools to do it, which is fair. I can see a number of people who wouldn't feel comfortable engaging in the process, and that would be to their own detriment. And you can guess where they'll end up in their careers and results wise and that. I think
Yeah, yeah,
you've got to want to improve, and you're not there to spoon feed it to us.
yeah. Well, that's what coaching's about. If I tell you everything, you don't learn, and we
No,
want to equip
100%.
them with the tools to work it out. Last question would be: so you'd recommend it to peers? You'd have good things to say about it.
Yeah, oh, 100%. Like I mean, we've just obviously recommitted to you with some of your other support groups and that you've got in the background, and yeah, you've probably got us on the hook now. I think it's a big part of our accountability going forward. So, I mean, that's as good a recommendation as I could do. I think there's things that you can do from your point of view that I'm not saying we can't in our role, but you can do it in a different way, and it
Mm,
adds a lot to our business, in terms of confronting realities or skipping through the bullshit, I guess you could say. So
yeah,
100% would recommend it. I don't see the value in that generic out of the box. Let's all sit in a room and read the sales process book. I just think it's such a different industry now, and the way I think you're well behind right from the get go if that's your approach to sales.
yeah, 100%. Sam, I want to tap you on the shoulder and sort of say, well done, you for investing in your team, small team that it is. I think it's served you well. There's a lot that sort of sit on the fence. They're hesitant. They see it as a cost, not as an investment. How would you respond to that when people say, "Oh, I don't really have the money to train"? And you've been very polite as you always are. It is a challenging process. It does reveal the team to the managers? What would you say to people that are sort of sitting on the fence, thinking maybe a bit timid or a bit scared? I always say scared money doesn't make money, by the way. But like, what would you say when people have got that sort of cost mentality around training?
So when we signed up to you right at the start, honestly, we were probably the last people in the world that could justify that sort of expense. I've had a few people that you're aware of just querying what we've done with you and what the costs were, and I'm not being blasé about it. I don't remember what we paid. It doesn't matter, like it's either you want to help people and you want to improve and step up, or you don't. Break it down to per unit sales, whatever, however many thousands it is, how many widgets or fert bags or tractors. I mean, shit, if Jade sells a fert spreader today, he's paid for it. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
You
take
either
much.
want to improve people or not. And I reckon probably most of my colleagues or businesses in this industry and the ag industry as a whole, there'd be way bigger wastes and lost efficiencies than getting another 1 or 2% performance out of our sales guys. So I don't know. I shrug my shoulders to that. Maybe I'm a bit blasé, but it's I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you're a bit different, and I think some people that it's a mindset. I often sometimes say that people adopt a poverty mindset because
Mm.
the thing is the way they think about training is often the way they then think about money, and they project that into the sale. So if
I,
you're not,
I feel I feel a little bit now that it would actually go the other way, having seen the way you interacted with Jade and what he's got out of it. If we, or let's say when we go down the path with you with the next guy and we do that again,
Mm,
if the result wasn't positive, I don't think I'd be questioning the training. I'd be questioning the guy taking the training on. Like it would be a measure of his inabilities, not what's coming his way. So I mean
yeah,
that's a good tool in itself.
yeah,
So
yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, often we say it only works when they do the work. And things
mm,
only get better
mm.
when they get better. Sam, well done you. Well done for you taking a leap of faith, investing in us, and trusting me with you and the team. Yeah, I enjoyed it when we got together, personally and together. That was really good with the team and the
Yep.
wider team. Obviously, the session we did with Josh, with the workshop manager. I'm incredibly proud of Jay's results, and the things that you very generously rattled off and given us assurance for other people. He's going to be a terrific asset for you, and well done you for making that investment in it.